and welcome to part 2 of painting orchids and woody. So if you can see here in this little square on the front screen, we've already painted our orchids here, and I just didn't manage to finish painting woody, so I'm just going to do a quick one to paint woody in case anybody did that. Okay, so I'll just switch the screen back over. So I've got a little bit of yellow ochre here, Naples yellow, and a little bit of white. As you can see, the yellow ochre is quite a good colour for the shadows, and the Naples yellow is quite a good colour for the rest of the woody's body. The white with yellow ochre will give you that Naples colour anyway. So if I just show you that, there's a little bit of yellow ochre water wash, add a little bit of the white, and it makes a nice creamy colour. There you go. So I've got 3 colours there now. I've got this one here, which is very close. You can see the difference. It's very, very minimal, if at all. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you haven't got Naples yellow. If you've got yellow ochre and you've got white, you can get all these colours. So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to do a wet in wet. So I'm going to go paint over the face of Woody. I've got a little bit of the colour still on my brush, but it doesn't matter because I just want to fill it all up with the water. I'm only going to paint the inside of Woody. Wherever the water goes is where the paint will flow. And because our orchids are very much dried now, it doesn't matter if you touch it slightly, it won't bleed into your woody. His arm. I did a very rough sketch of what Woody would look like, and I moved his arm down here. And then I've got a little bit this side of the flower, because it's going behind the flower, and on his hand at the top here. So there are 3 tones that you need when you're painting to try and get a 2D piece of paper to look 3D. A dark tone, a mid-tone, and a light tone. What I want to do first is actually put the dark tone in straight away. So the shadow here, if you can imagine each piece of this as a sphere, this is where the shadow is going to hit. Across the shoulder, underneath here, this bit will be in shadow, so all this. Always check back at your reference photo. You can check where the shadows is actually hitting. And have the inside of this arm. And a little bit there. There's a little bit too much on this bit, so I'm going to do a thirsty brush. For those of you who can't remember what a thirsty brush is, I'm going to wet my brush and then completely dry my brush so that it's thirsty and it wants to pick up the water. And then that way it just picks it up. Then you clean the brush to get rid of any paint. Completely dry the brush, and then you lift it up again. Just a little bit too much paint went on there for my liking, and not enough on the other bits. So what I wanted to do was give you to a blending technique. So you can put in the water to touch the dark and just take it to the edge. You can see there's a nice rounding effect going on with that arm. I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to just put in water and spread that, take a little bit of that colour across. Clean the brush again, add a little bit of water, just blend it across. Take this colour down here, across the shoulder, and just define around the orchid. Okay, down by the hand and arm. Okay. So that's just my little bit of a base coat, but I've got my shadows in there. I put a little bit more shadow bottom of his hand there, in that area, and again here. Pick up a thirsty brush again and just take it away. Seems a lot of faff, but I would just want to teach you the blending technique. Up to the edges. Now the face is going to be in a little bit of shadow because it's smelling the flower. So we'll just take a little bit, just pick it up from, while it's still wet, you can use your brush, your thirsty brush, to pick up the paint from this area and just put it that over there. You don't need to pick up any further paint from that paint palette. And I'm going to bring Woody's legs down, even though I didn't draw them. I'm going to put them in. Now I'm using a size 10 brush as we did before, but it's got a very, very, very nice point to it. I don't know if you can see that. You should be able to see that. There we go. So I can just use the tip. There are times where you want to use the whole of the brush, the side of the brush. But right now I just want to use the tip. And this is a good way of practicing if you haven't got a small brush, just to be able to do the finer details with a bigger brush. Okay. I'm just going to give that a bit of a dry. Okay, now I can go to my smaller brush. This is my rigger again. I'm going to wet it. It's got a bit of sable in it, so I'll just give it a little bit longer in the water so that it gets a chance to soak up the water rather than repel it. Okay, and then I'm going to pick up a little bit of the Naples yellow. Let's just wet that a little bit. I'm just going to paint little curves across. So allow, this is my sort of mid-tone to highlight. I'm going to just put that in there. But as I put the curves in, it helps to show the form of the arm because it's a round arm. I can go into the yellow ochre, and where it's got the elbow, I can put in the ball that holds the two pieces together. And accentuate this part and also the ball that holds the neck joint together. You don't have to turn this into a wooden art poser. You've got the shapes, they are there to help you to draw people, so you could put somebody into this pose. I just specifically want to put my helper, my Woody, in. It's a bit of shadow where the body joins to the hips. Again, there will be a bit of shadow across here. Now I'm doing the technique wet on dry because I've dried it. It's not going to bleed in to the rest of the paint as before, and that's the difference between wetting wet and wet on dry. Arm socket in. Just make the outline. Now I'm going to put some wooden features on my little Woody, as if he's smelling the flowers. This is just a little quick tutorial to finish off this painting. So thank you for joining today again and looking at this one. If you've enjoyed it, please press like. Feel free to share it. Come back to it, practice it again. And look out for my other tutorials. I will be doing all sorts of different things. So I should be doing some children's crafts as well as this is for painters. This started because we came into lockdown and my art class that I taught on a Monday morning wanted to carry on. So I tried to bring it online, and I think I've managed to do that, but it's had a few hilarious episodes of me trying to learn the technology side of it. But I'm getting there and I will improve. I've got my shadows in now. I think what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of white highlighting in certain places. So if I put that across here, a little bit here, across the top of the hand. Let's have a little bit across the top of the head. Always draw it in a curve. If it's a curve, if it's a flat space, it's a square or a cube, then you don't need to do the curved lines. But anything that is spherical, and you want to have that little bit of highlight on there, just put the curve in to help people your mind's eye to see what you're actually doing. So let's put some legs in here. I haven't actually got the legs on the photo, but I'm just improvising. And we'll soon get to the end of our woody tutorial for the orchid. You can find some of my work, I don't know if you're watching this on the YouTube channel or whether you're watching it on my Facebook page, but you can find work on both of them and different examples. If you're stuck for something to do, and you just want an idea, just flick through the photos of the different art things that I've been teaching my Monday class and other classes, and just get an idea of what you might like to do. And feel free to use any of the reference photos, that's perfectly fine. And there is the end. So all that's left for me to do is to sign. And I think if I put my little MD for Mary Deaville just about there, and then if I can just clean my brush, move my palette, it's the time to reveal the whole painting. Now, just a little tip, in case you tend to just put your masking tape on the corners, just put it on all the way around. It seems like a waste, but it gives you, if you've got a border and you've painted the background, it gives you that. You know, I've left this on too long. What I could do is heat it again, because you stop this fluff going on at the top of the page where it's coming off, but that will probably be hidden in a frame or a mount anyway. Always pull away from your painting. I don't know if I've got a mount to go over this. There we go. Just to make it look a little bit. Let's see if I can give you the full picture of that. Oops, no, that's me. Haha. There we go. So that's camera 1, and I'll zoom out. And thank you very much for watching.